What's up, YouTube? Today we're talking about the Usd Aeons. Super fun skate. Just gonna go ahead and get right into it. We'll start at the bottom, go from the wheels, then the frame, then the shell, liner, and just work our way through it. So yeah, we'll just get going. So let's start with the wheels. Wheels are really awesome. They're pretty high quality urethane. They're 61 millimeters long and they are 90A hardness, so that's pretty good, like skate park aggressive hardness and size. And yeah, they roll really good. I didn't like how they felt at first. I think just because they were new, they had like kind of a plasticky coating on them, so they felt kind of clacky and weird. But once I skated them for a few hours and kind of wore that, I guess, like seal off, then they felt just like normal good skates. They came with wicked ABEC 5 bearings, which they're okay. They're not the worst bearings I've had. I don't love them though. They feel a little slow and they're noisy. I don't know, maybe, could be got some dirt in there, but they definitely seem clackier than like the ABEC 9s that are on my rollerblades, or the ABEC 9s I put in my my undercover wheels that are on my Rossi skate. But overall, great wheel. ABEC 5s, that's pretty standard for coming stock on a skate. So, and this is the Usd Aeon Basic. If it was a pro model or something, I'd be a little bit more bummed, but it's the basic, so you get what you pay for. Let's go on to the frame. So the frame, as you guys probably all know about the Aeon already, the frame and the boot is all one mold. So it's all like one mold. So it doesn't have the UFS system. You can't take the frame off or remove it, which for some people, if you're experimenting and stuff, is a negative. But for what it's designed and its purpose, I think it's really cool, and I think it's made a unique ride. And in my opinion, it's basically created for one of the best shapes and setups for an aggressive skate. And that being, the reason for that is, so because it's molded, you don't have to worry about the UFS system, which is the bolt that mounts the frame to the boot. It's just one thing. So you can put the wheels almost right next to each other. So one of the things I hated when I was trying to learn how to grind is when you go to hop on and you slip over and it would roll into channel 2, and then you'd be like grinding in channel 2. And if you're not expecting to do that, that's a pretty scary feeling. So with the Aeon, I feel like I hardly ever end up in channel 2 or 3. The H block is a lot bigger than most other frames, and so it's just a lot easier, especially for skating flat. It's a lot easier to grind and get things sliding. And I will say that for skating flat, the geometry and the size of this frame and H block is probably the best. I really wish that UFS frames, or the UFS system in general, would change so that you could get your wheels right next to each other and make bigger H blocks. I don't know why, when they invented the UFS system, they didn't think about making the H block as big as possible and making the mounting bolts further away and pushing the wheels closer together. So yeah, it's kind of annoying that if you want to skate flat and have a really good grinding experience too, you basically need to skate the Aeons. If you want like a traditional flat system, or if you want like a big H block and still have that same feeling, you have to skate the wish frames, which are a high-low. And let's be honest, those are ugly. So you're pretty limited unless you want a tiny H block, which I just think is annoying. But anyways, so we'll move on to kind of the Soleplate part of the boot. Super wide, super good. I've been able to learn a lot of new tricks because of this and just have a little extra confidence when you're hopping onto something. And the grooves for groove tricks and stuff is good. Locks right in when you go boot down like that. That's always nice. So yeah, I really like the Soleplate design and stuff. That being said, Soleplate and H block, because this is a one mold piece, one of my biggest gripes is they had to make the plastic softer. Since it's all the same plastic, they had to make the Soleplate and frame plastic softer so that the part that goes around your foot was comfortable enough. So because it's softer plastic, it does not slide good at all. You have to wax everything 2 to 3 times as much, which I find annoying. So I think that would be really cool if USD figured out a way that they could do the same mold design where it's one piece, but have a different kind of plastic basically weld itself to the softer plastic for the boot, and then have a harder, different piece of plastic for the sole plate and frame. That's probably like a lot of engineering, and I'm sure there's reasons why they didn't do that, but if there's a way they could figure that out, that would make this boot revolutionary. It'd be like the best aggressive boot ever. But that's my biggest gripe, is I hate how slow it is. You have to wax everything a ton. And that kind of brings me to another small gripe. So we're up here at the cuffs now. So the cuffs are great. They look good. They have this huge gap between the boot and the cuff. And I'm not sure if there's a reason for that. But as far as looks go, I don't think that gap looks super good. I think they could clean that up. I think that's lazy engineering, in my personal opinion. Come on, USD. You're arguably one of, if not the best skate company. You can make that look better. And then that brings me to the cuff bolts. And actually, I'm just going to say all the hardware, the lace hooks, the frame hardware. Again, if people are paying $200 to $500 for a skate, the hardware should be good. And this is cheap, crappy hardware. It backs itself out. I've had to put thread lock on all the hardware, the cuff bolts and the wheels, and it still comes loose. Yeah, not impressed with the Kaiser hardware that USD makes. You guys got to get better metal. I'm not gonna lie, I think it comes from some cheap factory in China. That's how it feels. So get better hardware. Sorry. Don't hate me, but that's how I feel about that. And that moves up to the buckle on the cuff. It's a pretty basic buckle. I think it could be a little tougher. It feels pretty cheap, especially compared to my Rossi's buckle, and even my rollerblade buckle is significantly higher quality. Also on the cuff, the buckle protection, which is kind of this notch that they mold to kind of protect the buckle from when you fall, it doesn't really line up with or cover the buckle very well at all. And on this side, same thing, the other half of the buckle. I just personally think, again, lazy engineering. You guys can just design it to have a little more plastic. You need to protect your buckles. When those break, it's super annoying, and it's just, yeah, make better buckle protection. Also, on the cuff, there's, I don't know if you can see, but I ended up cutting them off and just sanding them off, so they're like normal cuffs. But if you look on the, like on a new skate, they have all these markings of like pieces of plastic you can snap off. I just ended up snapping all of them off because it was just wasted material, and it just made it like harder to get it tight. And I looked at other normal looking cuffs from other brands, and they all look like that. So again, that was just kind of over engineered. I think if the way the cuff is without any of it works fine for me. So that's what I like. All right, and another gripe I have going along with like the buckle protection and stuff, I guess, is the way, so when you tighten it up all the way, you got your foot in there, there's a bunch of excess plastic from that strap, and that just flips around and gets caught. And I guess I can cut it. I might do that, but I think my rollerblade ones, if you look at my rollerblade review, it has like a cool, so it goes through that, but then it's inside the shell. So the strap goes into like a hollow little place. And I think I think that USD could make a little better effort at kind of figuring out what to do with the excess of that strap and just make it kind of hide and be more out of the way. Because yeah, that's pretty annoying. Again, I'm probably going to cut it. I recommend cutting it if you have a lot of excess strap on your thing. But yeah, the laces are good. They're just laces. I like the eyelets that are white. That looks kind of cool. And then the lace hooks have replaced the 45-degree strap. And I actually kind of like that. It's lighter and simpler. But again, the hardware on those, they back themselves out. I've had to retighten them several times. And it's just made out of like a cheap metal. The hook that holds the thing, I've had to bend it back and forth a couple times. So again, just think about maybe using more quality materials for little things like the hooks and those details. The liner, it beats the stock Rosie's liners, and for a stock liner, it's actually pretty good and comfortable. I will say the footbed wasn't that good, but most footbeds and most liners of anything, even snowboard boots or ski boots, aren't going to be great because everyone has such a different foot shape. It's almost a waste of time to like really put expensive footbeds in there. So I ended up just swapping it out with a custom footbed from one of my older snowboarding boots, and I'll tell you what, if you get even just an aftermarket like Super Feet or Shred Soles footbed and put it in your skate, that makes a much better experience. So yeah, I just put a custom smart footbed in, and that felt good. The liner's good. So overall, I love this skate. It's neck and neck between this and the Rollerblade Blink. There's things I like about this a lot more, and there's things I like about the Rollerblade Blink more. But yeah, let me know how I did on the review, guys. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Is there anything I missed that I should have maybe mentioned? Let me know in the comments. Let's have a conversation and talk skates. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. This is the USD Basic Aeon, and I'll see you in the next one.
My family name.